Hey there, welcome back to the podcast that's just as cynical as your bank balance and as sarcastic as your teenage nephew. This episode, we're diving into 30-30. No, it's not a fitness challenge. It's about the last 30 days of a job and the first 30 days free. So grab your 99-cent ramen because this is I Got Laid Off. Now what? I'm your host, Crystal. My friends call me Kitty, but you can call me available to start immediately. A 30-day layoff notice feels like it should be a standard, but my father used to have this saying, put shoulda in one hand and shit in the other and see which one fills up faster. Okay, honestly, I'm not 100% sure what he means by that, but I guess I kind of get the point. A notice period all depends on your work location, the size of the business, and how many people were being thrown out the door at the exact same time. Some states have strict notice periods like New Jersey, where the WARN, W-A-R-N Act requires up to a 90-day notice if there's a mass layoff. But again, all of this depends on the size of the RIF, which is corporate speak for reduction in force, or in your finance speak, really? I'm effed. Okay, so let's say you got a 30-day notice, or really even a 90-day notice. Are you emotionally, physically, financially prepared? Probably not. But I mean, who really is? Unless you were like 3 days away from retirement and already had a condo in Florida picked out, you weren't ready. But here you are, listening to this podcast, which means it probably happened. You probably cried a little and binged a pint of ice cream. Or 3. And that's totally normal. It's okay to be sad, or glad, or just really pissed off. But I need you to get it together because there's going to be a lot to do in those last 30 days, and denial is a river that leads us straight to a maxed out credit card. I know, I said this wouldn't be a step-by-step guide, but I do have a handbook with some suggestions from my friends over at Lumen Industries on dealing with severance. Okay, side note, if you haven't seen the show, that's totally a joke. Please do not let a dystopian tech company perform surgery on your brain for money. We have enough problems and we're not that broke yet. Day 1, cry. Legit, it's totally okay to break down. Losing your job is like a death, especially if you've been there for a while. As a member of the sober community, I am pretty sure this next tidbit is going to go against everything in every rule book, but if you want to have a drink, you're an adult. Just don't do anything stupid. Don't get blackout drunk. Don't drink and drive. And for the love of everything that's holy, do not make a scorched earth LinkedIn post blasting your boss or your soon-to-be former employer. That free from all this toxic dumpster fire post is going to feel good for like 4 seconds until you realize HR is lurking on everyone's LinkedIn profiles like sharks in business casual, and Karen from accounts payable took a screenshot to share with them just because. Keep those bridges unburned. You might need to cross them again in the future when you're looking for like a reference. But also, who needs all those empty calories, not to mention the money you are literally pissing away? What I'm about to say next, I cannot stress enough, and most employers are not going to tell you this, so get close as I whisper this to you. Extraction! Write down contact information for everyone. Coworkers, email addresses for outside vendors, agency partners. Add people to LinkedIn now. These folks are your lifeline. I read a statistic somewhere about 1% of job applications come with a referral, but referred candidates are significantly more likely to be hired. You will have a 40% higher chance of going from an interview to an offer, and referred candidates have a tendency to stay longer in role. Make sure that you have your resume, interview review, work samples, anything that is not proprietary. Let me say that again. Not proprietary. Do not send anything stupid to yourself like an executive spreadsheet of salaries. That is gonna accomplish nothing. Be smart. Some companies will cut off Slack and emails the second the announcement is over. Suddenly, 3 years of record-breaking ROI becomes a vague memory you're trying to describe to a recruiter like a Bigfoot encounter.
I think we had about a 20% increase in sightings. It was right over there in the bushes. I swear.
If any personal information is linked to your work phone number or email, you need to update that immediately. If your kids' schools have your work phone number as the only contact number, for the love of everything holy, please go change it instantly. Literally, stop the podcast and go make a phone call. By the end of week 1, you should have already scheduled every doctor's appointment humanly possible. I had LASIK 8 years ago, and I haven't seen an optometrist since then. So I have no idea where to even go with my insurance, but if you go to ZocDoc, ZocDoc, you can find someone within your network. No, I'm not sponsored by them, but I've been using this site for years, and they have great doctors with reviews and who's accepting new appointments and all that good stuff. That's even how I found my amazing therapist. Treat your insurance card like a supermarket sweepstakes contest at the final minute. If it's covered, book it. Teeth, eyes, nose, weird mole that you named Gary, get it checked. If they can't get you in, tell them that you're losing your health insurance. I mean, it's probably true. People are really understanding. Usually your doctor is more understanding and more sympathetic than the stockholders. That also reminds me, don't be embarrassed to tell people you got laid off.
I wasn't fired from my job, I was laid off.
People cannot help you if they don't know you need help. I was really reluctant to put the open to work badge on my LinkedIn profile because I felt like it was a scarlet letter. And then I said out loud to myself, what the hell are you talking about? Layoffs are like the flu. It's going around and everyone's catching it. Fun fact, by November of 2025, the unemployment rate in the United States hit 4.6%. So that's just shy of 8 million people that are in the same boat as you. Wait, man, I think we're gonna need a bigger boat. Personally, I believe that once you get your notice, your new job is finding a job. From the moment of notice, you are officially the CEO of getting yourself hired. I'm going to tell you the same thing I tell my interns and my cycle classes. You're going to get out of this what you put into it. If you don't put in any effort, how do you expect to see results? All right, it's officially day 1 of freedom. It's over. You're an official alumni, and there was no ceremony, no hats were thrown in the air, and you're looking at your last paycheck in your bank account. That flood of realization hits. The direct deposits have stopped. This is a good moment to breathe. Maybe have another cry. I've been dreading this part, but we have to talk about it. It's finances. Full disclosure, I am not a financial expert. I'm not an advisor or an educator, so this is not financial advice. I don't even like to talk about money. I set up my 401k in the early aughts, and I haven't touched it since. For all I know, my retirement fund is currently invested in Beanie Babies and Radio Shack. However, I highly recommend Chloé Daniels. She's an investment educator who goes by Chloé Money Coach on Instagram. She offers a lazy investor's guide, super helpful information. A lot of her stuff is free. Please go check her out. She can actually give you real investing advice. But this is now the first 30 days without that safety net. Maybe you got a little severance, but it's not a steady income. Listen, I'm scrappy. I paid off all my debts by the time I was 30, including student loans. You know why? Because I grew up lower middle class and worked full-time since high school. This is technically kind of like my first real break in many years, but I've survived some really lean years, especially living on the East Coast. My financial strategy was late night first dates at the local diner. Thanks to my mom, I was cute enough to get a patty melt and a side of disco fries, but funny enough to get out of any obligations like splitting the check. But honestly, the only way I survived working in New York in my late 20s on an income that barely covered rent while I was drinking like a Hudson River fish was that I was a frequent flyer of Rudy's Bar in Midtown Manhattan. You get free hot dogs with every pitcher of beer, and it's still like that today. If you find yourself in Midtown Manhattan on the West Side, go say hi to my old friends at Rudy's and send me a pic of you and the pig. You'll know what I mean when you get there. So ask yourself, what can you really cut back on? I'm a simple person. I don't have kids or a car payment, but I have a spoiled-ass Staffordshire Bull Terrier. She was found under a garbage truck in the Bronx and deserves everything in the world. Mabel's snacks are non-negotiables. My 4 streaming services, well, those are negotiable. Over the weekend, I spent a lot of time reading about the state of the economy and employment strategies. Wait, who am I kidding? I watched Reels. The founder of Rhize, R-H-I-Z-E, she's an unemployment advocate. She started a program in a safe space for those who are unemployed to connect. They offer free events, workshops, and support. I learned a lot from just listening to some of her different stories and hearing about how other people are dealing with unemployment. I also learned about the lipstick effect. I legit love this term. It was coined by Leonard Lauder. If you think the name sounds familiar, it's because he's part of the Estee Lauder family. The lipstick effect is an economic theory that suggests people substitute expensive luxuries like designer clothes or luxury trips with inexpensive items like cosmetics, serving as a psychological coping mechanism during economic downturns. Personally, the day I got the notice, I moved all of my streaming services to the lowest with ads tier, which I guess means HBO Max is my lipstick? Well, luckily Spotify, Hulu, and even the Metro bike share here in Los Angeles offers a student discount. So while I finish up my very expensive master's program, I can at least reduce some of my other costs. Also, don't sleep on free services like Tubi. Every penny counts. Wait, did you know they stopped printing pennies in 2025? Rest in peace, Copper Lincolns. Listen, I'm not going to say you can't take that vacation or don't buy yourself anything nice, but here's some advice coming from someone who's cut their own hair since they were 12. Maybe start focusing on those things that are must-haves and what are things that can wait. I say start looking at reoccurring subscriptions. Here's a real simple way that is free to find all those charges. Go to your bank account, credit card statement, and just export all those charges. You can literally kind of copy and paste them right off the website into a Google Sheet and then sort by vendor. You'll probably see a bunch for your local coffee shop that you swear you don't go to that often, or Amazon. Also, check to see if you're getting all of your discounts and you're not being double charged for anything in error. It happens more than you expect. Once you've officially come off of payroll, check to see if you're eligible for unemployment. You can also visit State Resource Finder to explore benefits or programs you may be eligible for, like food support, assistance with rent or mortgage, electric, or even internet bills. I've also heard some people make some really disparaging comments about Severance. Not the TV show, that thing's amazing, you should definitely watch it, but like company pay for leaving. Back in 2023, during my first round of layoffs, I had a coworker make the most incredible statement I've ever heard about this subject, and it stuck with me ever since. She said, "Severance is like a parting gift. If you get anything at all, consider it a bonus, be grateful, and just move on." That's always stuck with me, and I couldn't agree more. My last little tidbit I will touch on, and it's so important, it's your mental health. It really needs to be top of mind. It's really easy to slip into sadness, especially if you've lost your routine, you've found yourself wearing the same PJs for a week straight, not brushing your teeth regularly. Find a cheap gym, or just go for a walk. Get out of the house and get some fresh air. Maybe start volunteering or baking. But stay productive. It wasn't all that long ago we were all locked in our homes during the pandemic, and some people really thrived by learning a second language or going back to school, and it's okay not to have it all figured out. We're all just trying our best while floating in a rock in space. But take this time to be kind to yourself. Enjoy the little break, and then get into a routine of working to find yourself a job. You are your own CEO. Next time, we'll dive headfirst into the shallow end of what I like to call the Hollywood hustle. It's ways to make side money while you're landing your dream job or any job that pays your bills. We'll also get into some glass half full thoughts around finding the silver lining of being jobless. So look at some really interesting hiring facts like the 80-20 rule and more. Special thanks to everyone who listened to the pilot episode and reached out, even if it was just to say that you enjoyed the smooth sound of my voice. As always, if you have suggestions, feedback, or emotional outbursts, send them my way. Honestly, I can't tell you how helpful this podcast has been for me. So even if it helps just one person chuckles just a little, it's all been worth it. This has been I Got Laid Off. Now what? Stay productive out there, friends, and thank you for being supportive. Music credits and relevant links will be provided in the show notes.